If you're a young, ambitious person like me who knows they want to be successful in the future but can't clearly see what's holding them back, then this video is for you. Last week, I went to London and I met this founder who wants to build the social media platform of the future. Basically, he thinks that in today's world with TikTok, Instagram, of this short form content that's supposed to make us feel more connected, it actually leaves us feeling more fragmented and with more anxiety. So he wants to build a full platform that is basically to help humans truly connect with one another. And that's a great idea. But then I asked him, why are you the one to build this? And he told me so much about how he's done similar things in the past, how he's done a lot of research on it, this and that. But then when it came to actually executing on it and starting to build a platform, he failed on that. So I now help them walk through that and understand what's holding you back. And so I've developed a framework called Lucid. It stands for locate, unpack, catch, integrate, and drive. And this is a framework to be successful in today's modern world. So it all starts with the goal. You want to have clarity, you want to be able to build effective systems, and you want to know how to leverage your mind in the AI era so you can win. And so let's take a look at this. The menu versus the operator matrix. This is a passive individual. This is where most people are. You live in cognitive fog, you rely on your emotions, and you're not really able to focus because you're intaking so much short form content that just leaves you permanently distracted. And this used to be me. I used to watch TikTok 6 hours a day, thinking it just helped me connect with people, thinking that, oh, it was fine, I could treat myself, and really viewing it as a form of relaxation. Only thing is that I would find every single time after I'm done with that is that I felt more anxiety. I was a lot more anxious, for one, and I just really felt lost. And I have an analogy for this is that you're either on the menu or you have a seat at the table. This means you're either the passive individual who just sits back, watches all of this short form content, lets it cook your brain really, or you're the one who actually stands up, realizes I really need a change, and then you take those first steps towards improvement and towards real success. So, on the other side, we have the active operator. This is what I've been moving towards now. I'm the one who has a baseline of systems and metrics that help me perform at my best. So this could be something as simple as when I wake up, literally no social media for the first 2 hours. Because something that I've actually come to realize is that when you hop on social media in the morning, it really fries your dopamine levels. You're just really not able to focus and perform at the effective level you would want to for the rest of the day. So it's almost like a dopamine crash. And that's what you want to avoid. So no short form content in the mornings. Additionally, the most important skill, I would say, for sure, is developing metacognition. And you might be thinking, metacognition, what's that? Well, it's thinking about your thinking. Well, what's that? It basically means being able to catch your thoughts and think, why did I think that? And why did that lead me to a specific decision? So, for example, it could be something like, I did bad on a test. That's a sane thought. And then from that, you decide, because I did bad on the test, I have no worth and I'll never achieve anything. That goes from a sane to insane thought. And this is what metacognition helps you not only notice but avoid, because it's really auditing your own thoughts and seeing, first off, what's working, what's not working, and what you can improve in your own thinking to become more effective. And this will help you be someone who's able to preserve your critical thinking skills, which is really important in today's world where, AI is, people just offload all of their work to AI. And you really want to be that person who has high agency and is still able to effectively think and communicate. And that really helps by developing metacognition. And so, moving on to the actual framework that I developed. It's called Lucid, and it's basically a system that helps turn your raw cognitive efforts and thinking into a structured system and streamlined output that helps increase your efficiency. So, the first step, you locate. This is the hardest step. It's where you actually think, where am I right now? Why am I here? And what can I actually do to improve? And I'll give you a clear example. For me, even just a couple months ago, I was someone who was always really bad at public speaking. And it was, for me, I was just saying, oh, maybe I don't want to, or this and that. It was just making excuses. So I really sat down with myself. I was brutal, and I really unpacked why was I bad at that. And it was really, I didn't want to get embarrassed. And it's like, but why would you want to get embarrassed when it's just talking to someone else? So and that moves on to the unpacking stage. I unpacked it, understood, why do I have this problem? Hey, let's say that I'm shy, maybe I feel like I might be embarrassed. So then I proceeded to be on the active lookout for it in a scenario where it might have been talking to someone. I would catch that moment where I start to feel almost anxious and realize, why do I have this feeling and how can I change it? Then integrate. I integrate the new form of thinking being, I'm going to not only push myself to be out there more, to talk there more, and then drive, establishing a daily feedback loop. For me, this was literally saying I will talk to one new person every day, no matter what. And yeah, so we can say at the beginning, I was unsure, anxious, unclear, and I just wasn't ready to take action in a sense. And at the end of it, what happened is I actually ended up going to a few networking events in London. And this was such a big eye opener for me, because at these events I was able to get in contact with so many different founders, venture capitalists, and not only that, but I met this lawyer, right? And this was the biggest one for me because I walked up to him, I talked to him, I was like, hey, this is me, this is what I do. And we started talking. And then he told me that he's actually worked at this law firm that actually has a program to help founders basically improve their own startup and also attack it from the legal side. So from this tiny improvement of just me noticing, hey, maybe I don't really like being out there and talking to people, to applying my own framework, and then leading to this output of me being able to go out and confidently talk to people. This led to me meeting these many amazing people. And I actually had a meeting with a lawyer last week in his office, 15th floor, in some really nice office. And it was just really like, wow, that making such a small change could get you here in such a small amount of time. And the biggest thing is just realizing that when you're feeling stuck about something in life, You just really have to, like, here, locate, where am I right now? Why do I have this feeling? And then from there, you can move through the other steps. You catch it, you integrate the new system, and then from there, you repeat that to improve your own thinking. And that's just such a major form of improvement that has really helped me, for example. And really, if you want to stop underperforming, you need to install this personal operating system that helps you be more effective. All right, so that's part one. And for part two, I'm basically going to talk to you about rejection. Rejection. People always see rejection as this big, bad thing, when it's really not. You have to stop seeing it as a threat and instead start seeing it as a form of learning. You know, you don't just feel that, but instead you then think, how can I go from this to not only improving what I'm doing and basically using it as data in a sense, and how do you effectively go from that to success? Because at the end of the day, this is a quote I really love. A winner is just a loser who didn't quit. What does that mean? It means that if you want to succeed, it doesn't come down to getting lucky. So many people who have become successful, they failed hundreds and hundreds of times. But do you know what they don't do? They don't give up. Instead, they see rejection as data and not failure, but instead redirection. And then from there, guess what they do? They adapt, and then they improve. And the beautiful thing about this is that this is almost like a flywheel in which you get rejected, you see it as data, you adapt, you improve, and this keeps on going until eventually, guess what? From rejection, you go to success. Because at the end of the day, all success comes down to is really learning from your past mistakes, adapting how you tackled a problem, and then improving from that. The beautiful thing about life is if you don't quit, you can't be a loser. You're just a winner who hasn't won yet. So this framework, I just find it incredibly useful as well for me, even to understand how I attack problems, and when I fail, realize it's not an attack on you. It was just the wrong time, wrong situation, wrong place. And this is just really important for me because usually people fail and they think, hey, I'm not good enough. And that also ties into this, going from a sane to insane thought. Because how do you go from, hey, I failed, to meaning I'm a failure? That doesn't make sense. Your failures don't define you. Instead, you use them as data to improve and become better in the future. So if I had to say that if you had to take away two things from what I talked about today, it would definitely be, sorry, three things. First one would be metacognition, the skill of thinking about your own thinking and catching where you have these thoughts that don't really align with you and with your goals. Like you can't go from a perfectly sane thought of, hey, I failed on this to, hey, I'm never going to try again. That just doesn't work. So first thing, metacognition. Second thing, follow my lucid framework. Once you have a problem or just uncertainty in general, you really need to locate, why do I have this? When you locate it, you unpack. What is the specific problem? You catch when it happens, then you integrate the new feedback, and then you drive and keep repeating that process until you improve. And then third thing would definitely just be this flywheel. It has been so important for me. Like last week, I've had so many meetings with even VCs I want to potentially invest in my startup. And I've just gotten so many new connections and real priceless opportunities just because I stopped seeing rejection as failure, but instead as data to improve. So you get rejected. It's not failure, it's redirection. You use that as data. You adapt. You see, hey, what could I improve? Then you go ahead and improve and realize it never really happens on the first go. But after doing that time and time again, you effectively get to where you want, which is success. And so the biggest thing is just honestly, don't give up and realize that you, you're capable of anything you put your mind to. And the biggest overarching theme of everything here today would certainly be mindset. If your mindset isn't aligned with everything you want to achieve, you're never going to make it. So if there's one thing you take away from today's video, it's improve your own mind and your current systems around it to help you achieve success. All right, bye.